people and young people as well. So with no further ado, I want to bring up my good friend for a very long time, peacekeeper member, Brother Jaleel X. Come on, brother.
All right, Jaleel.
Pull up that fence, nigga. You ain't got no more to stop.
Yeah.
Oh, you can keep on.
Thank you, Mayor, for that introduction. I'd like to first thank all of the attendees, all of the partners, the collaborators, the media, the people from the community for coming out to hear from this very important press conference dealing with action and implementation of things to help reduce the gun violence in our community. We gathered this morning standing united to implement solutions to the recent rash of youth gun violence and loss of life. Our future lies with our youth. If we fail to protect our youth, cherish our youth, honor our youth, or respect our youth, we will lose our youth and our future. Our youth reflect the greatest generation born to lead us to establishing freedom, justice, and equality. However, they are like misguided missiles where the guiding chip has not been updated with information to send it to the proper target for the proper reason. And that target and that reason would be truth and understanding of self. When young people lack knowledge of self, they don't have love for self. And without love for self, you can't unite under the universal principle of love for one another. So the peacekeepers are stepping up to do our part by helping to guide our youth through what is called a back-to-school safety initiative, where 12 to 14-year-old male and female students will receive conflict mediation training and make them into young junior peacekeepers, equipped with the ability to properly handle people, exercise the 8 basic forms of communication, and be involved in nonviolence intervention. They will be around each other more than we will be around them. So it would be good for us to equip those in their own peer group with something that will help them make a better decision and a better rational way of dealing with emotions. That's something that would cause a conflict. We are calling every person, organization, administrative body, spiritual leaders, and concerned citizens to step up and show our youth that we don't only care, but we love them and want to see them survive and carry us into the future that establishes a universal government of peace wherein we all can live in peace together. So that is the goal, that is the implementation that the peacekeepers offer. It's a sad day when our youth don't see a value in themselves, but it's sad when us that are in guardianship over them by whatever means in the spiritual realm, in the educational realm, in the community realm, we don't step up and say, let's not wait for a solution, let's be the solution. Let's not wait for somebody to tell us what to do. Let's go out and get it done. They don't have time for us to try to sit in rooms and figure this out. We just got to go out and do it with the faith and hope that God will guide and direct our every move and everything that we do for a good reason and a good outcome. So it's important to have everybody in this room here because we all play a vital role and we all have to get on the same page to saying we want to see our youth survive and we want to see them elevated to a level that will make a change in our community that is such improved that everyone would like to live in this community. So I won't be remiss not to begin to call up some of those who are our partners to have some words to say in behalf of this. We want the acronym BSSI to become well known. That's Back to School Safety Initiative, to go all over the city, over the county, and even the state. And we hope other people see that this Flint, little city of Flint, that represents the spark to all of the country. When you light a flint, it's a match that begins to set a fire off throughout the world. And we will be the beginning place that will set this fire off to make change in our community. We would like to thank the mayor's office for partnering with us to help us in this initiative with the youth, the 12 to 14-year-olds who will be getting this training, because he and his administration see the need to do something with the youth, and they reached out and they said, let's make this happen. The sheriff department seeing a need to want to do something with the youth, so they partnered. The local communities and activists and organizations see the need, so they partnered. And no one partnered out of nothing other than the concern to see the youth elevated and doing better in our community. So at this time, I'd like to bring up a representative from the sheriff department to speak in their behalf. I think it's Jonell. Is he coming up? Yes, sir. We'll receive Jonell Allen Bay with a round of applause.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to give praise to the one God of the universe for allowing this moment to happen. That's very important. I'd like to thank our mayor. I'd like to thank all law enforcement, right? And I'd like to take a special time to thank the peacekeepers. I'm a member of the peacekeepers. I apologize for not wearing my orange, but I'm working, I wear many hats. But one of the greatest hats that I wear is being a product of Flint. I look at things a little different than everyone else. I know that those who are closest to the problem have the solution. And I've definitely been a part of the problem for a long time in my life. So I really understand solutions. And when people talk about violence in youth, one of the things that I know is that we learn behavior by watching those who have the most influence over us. And that's us. When we don't learn to unify, we have problems. Because what happens is your message is tainted. If I can't bring us together, no matter if you are disagreeing with me, then those who are under us look at and they handle conflict that way. And the way that they handle it is like this here. If I don't like you, I can't get along with you, then I got to do something to you. I devalue you as a human. We have to eradicate that kind of thoughts. And we can do it because those who are looked at as influencers of the street, we have to start being held accountable for what's happening on the streets in order to prevent this here. So we could talk all of these things. I heard a conversation earlier where someone was talking about parents and all this here. I was raised by two parents that were educated, gave me everything in the world to be able to survive and be successful. But when I left the porch, those who were in the community, those were my influencers. Those are the people who tainted me to see certain things a certain way and put a chip on my shoulder that this is the way. So therefore, as one of those people now, I know that we have to take a stance. We have to take a stance with our youth and be able to, first of all, hear them. We have to listen. We can no longer say, you don't have a voice, or you shouldn't be talking, because of the fact that they need to express some things. And if we understand what they're expressing, then we're able to guide them in the right direction. I believe the other solution is that we have to get more involved in our community where it's not comfortable being. There are some places that are a little bit tight. I heard a young lady today, we talked about having an event. She says, well, I wasn't going out there because, you know, they're a little violent out there. Well, that's where you need to be. You need to be in the trenches. I look out in this audience here and I'm happy for what I see the faces. I'm happy that people are concerned, but I'm going to be more happier when I see these faces in the proper spaces to make sure that we eradicate the violence that's happening with our children. I have prayed that today that we learn a few lessons, that if we all get involved, those who are great leaders, I look out and I see some powerful people in this room. We're going to hold each other accountable for what's happening in our streets. And then we know that peace will be upon us. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. I'd like to bring up at this time one of my favorite captains of a police department, chief, excuse me, for the Flint Police Department. He's been working with us and partnering with us for a long time, and we appreciate his guidance, his intervention, his working and being open to change and doing things different, because as I heard him say before, you can't lock up everybody to fix this problem. You're not going to be able to arrest your way into a change. So we have to do something else. So with no further ado, Chief Terrence Green, Flint Police Department.
Just the mic, right? Yes. Thanks, Brother Jaleel. I'll be real brief here. So approximately 2 years ago, the Flint Police Department, we embarked on efforts to prevent and solve violent crime. We've procured innovative technology. We've turned our Intel Center into a real-time crime center with funding provided by the mayor's office. But one of the most important, I think, efforts that we made beginning approximately 2 years ago was to partner with the Michigan Peacekeepers, So far, today's date, we've sent 40 City of Flint police officers to the training provided by the Michigan Peacekeepers. And the reason why I committed to this type of training and this partnership with the Michigan Peacekeepers is the fact that, as Brother Jaleel just stated, we're pretty good at solving crimes and arresting people, but that can't be the only cure. We can't arrest our way out of this. I'm more into preventing crime. I'm more into preventing gun violence. And the only way we can prevent the gun violence is a partnership with the community, grassroots organizations. I see Patrick McNeil is here in the office. We formed a partnership with him. But in order for us to prevent crime, violent crime, we have to have a strong community relationship. We have to have a strong relationship. And the reason why is because that relationship builds trust. If the community don't trust you, they're not going to call you with the information that we need to prevent crime. If they don't trust the police department, they're not going to provide us with the crucial information that we need to prevent violent crime. That's why I'm committed to it. As long as I'm the chief of police, I will remain committed to it. We have partnerships with the Genesee County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. We're in consult with every major entity that's involved with preventing crime. and it's of utmost importance. Me standing here as the chief of police, if I wasn't having these words with you right now or making these statements, I wouldn't be successful as a police officer. You cannot solve this crime, prevent this crime without a strong relationship with the community. You can't do it, and you won't do it. We will not be successful as a police department if we don't have the community's trust. We need it, we depend on it, and it's very important to me and the officers. It starts with me. It starts with the chief of police. If I don't believe in this, I shouldn't be the chief of police, because those under me, they follow my lead, and my lead is community trust and a strong relationship with the community. And we're committed to partnering with the Michigan Peacekeepers. We will continue to be strong in that effort. And I guarantee you, once we build and build and build and have events like this, I guarantee you we will reduce violent crime. We have no other choice. So thanks for inviting me here. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. As he said, we could not move forward and make any headway without these collaborations and partnerships. And one of the partnerships we have is with the prosecuting attorney office to help give second, third chances and come up with other remedies other than incarceration and doing time. And we have a community-based member of the prosecuting office who comes out and helps forge relationships with the community. And I'd like him to come up and have a word at this time, Prosecutor Jerry Snodgrass.
Good morning. I just want to indicate that Brother Jaleel just surprised me by having me come up and speak, but I will say that by the end of this past year, Prosecutor Layton created a new division in our office. Most of y'all know us as people who tend to prosecute crime. We're reactionary in nature. He decided that it was about time we started trying to prevent crime. A lot of other prosecutors' offices are doing it. We are now as well. I'm the new bureau chief of the prevention division in the prosecutor's office. By the way, a division of one, but we're working hard to get more people along. 3 projects that we've come forward with in this effort, and we've partnered with the Peacekeepers on 2 of those initiatives. One is we're going to try to train officers and juveniles together. Something that I don't think has ever been done across this country. Is that right, Kevin? What we're trying to do is teach respect for authority to juveniles at the same time as bias and sensitivity or mental health treatment for the officers. We feel as though if we can fix the idea of mental health with police officers, we can have success. We can have less violence in the community. So we're going to try to do that together. We're really excited about that. Captain Muhammad and I have been working on it for the last 2 months. We're going to start the school year off with that. Second, we do restorative justice now in the prosecutor's office. How many of y'all know what that is? Couple. What we do is we try to get victims together with defendants. We call them justice impacted individuals. We've been successful so far in about 15 different cases, both adult and juvenile. For example, the other day we had 2 12-year-olds got into a fight at school. Now, you think 2 12-year-olds belong in the system with felony charges? Well, that's what they got, okay? The schools are struggling right now. They usually have 1 school resource officer, and they struggle. Understaffed, maybe don't know the kids as well as they should, okay? They don't have any resource but to bring them downtown, okay? We decided that was not the right thing to do. We got these 2 12-year-olds together with their parents. We had them talk it out. Took about 2 hours, but by the end, they left as friends again, just how they started. And we decided to not only cross those charges, it means we got rid of those charges. Those are the types of things that we're dealing with right now, okay? New innovative approaches to not housing everybody that we bring in, okay? Something we've never done in our office. Also, thanks to Mr. Layton, what he indicated to me was that he wanted me to attack this juvenile violent crime. He said, go out and find something to pattern yourself after. Find a program that's successful. So we looked at a program called Youth Connect in Boston, where they dealt with kids from 10 to 17, sometimes older in their areas, and they reduced violent crime by about 30% in Boston. You imagine if we could do that here, how successful we would be. The next generation wouldn't be in prison. And that's what we're trying to do. What we do in that circumstance is we partner with the Peacekeepers, many other community organizations, specifically with after-school programs. You know, most of you that are here that I recognize know that we have so many resources in this community. They sometimes, however, don't know what the others do. And so we're trying to bring them together at the table. We're working with the Flint Police. We appreciate Chief Green and his cooperation. Mount Morris Police as well, Flint Township Police, working with all those school districts in those areas as well. We're trying to identify kids that may be tipping into juvenile crime. We're trying to find out what those kids need, what resources they need. We're trying to provide it to them quickly. If we can meet the needs of these kids, let's say you need food. You haven't had good food in the last 2 weeks. Well, we're gonna try to provide you food. If you don't have a roof over your head, if you've got a leaky roof, we're gonna try to fix your roof. If your needs are met, you're not gonna resort to crime, right? So that's what we're trying to do. We're then gonna farm those kids out to the after-school programs, working with Boys and Girls Clubs and Big Brothers Big Sisters, Motherly Intercession we're working with. So this is our approach to it. Thanks to Prosecutor Layton, he's put me in this position to do this, and I hope that we're successful. So no more subterfuge from me. It's time to fix the problem.
That's what we're talking about. I'd be remiss not to mention the friend of the court, Genesee County friend of the court, and the new changes that they've made and how they're getting involved in the community also to help in these efforts. At this time, I wanted to bring up a member of the city council, the president of the Flint City Council, Dr. Liddell Lewis, to have a few words to show how even across that spectrum, we have to have unity and working together in order to make this thing positive in our community. Also, Vice President Candace Mouchette is here too. Can you give them a round of applause?
Good morning. I am Dr. Liddell Lewis. I'm president of the Flint City Council, and next to me is Ms. Candace Mouchette. She is also the vice president of the Flint City Council. And we would like to thank each and every one of you that came today, because this is an issue that only a community can tackle together. Not just the police department, not just the peacekeepers, not just the city council, but we all have a role to play, all of us. All roles are different. However, all roles are essential. So in order for us to tackle youth violence, because without youth, we don't have a future. So if we don't step in and do our part, we're eradicating our future. So we want to make sure that we stand with everyone that is for a prosperous, a safe future for our young people in the city of Flint. And that is why we stand with the peacekeepers. The Flint City Council stands with the peacekeepers and every single individual that is invested in saving our city. And so I want to pass the microphone over to the Vice President.
Thank you. Good morning. It is definitely an honor to be here today. I want to thank the peacekeepers, and I want to thank all of those in partnership to help basically save the youth of our city. Some of the things that I heard them discuss this morning that they will be doing is de-escalation tactics. They'll be helping them learn how to speak with their peers and talk to their peers. They'll be learning how to do the beginning stages of emotional intelligence. Those are two things that are much needed and often why we end up in situations where we have youth on youth violence. And so to hear that those things will be taught and give this generation an opportunity to learn, to stop a problem before it goes too far, those are things that we encourage and we stand with. Those are things that help those youth become responsible adults, that keep them out of the streets and help train the next generation. Thank you to the police chief for making sure that our police officers are educated in proper de-escalation with youth. Because a lot of times they're coming from a place of aggression because of a place of hurt. And to know that both the police officers and the youth will get these tools means we are looking at a safer future. So thank you for your work.
Hold on, one last thing.